In 2017, 5 strangers suffer violent seizures, marking the arrival of the travelers, operatives from a post-apocalyptic future who transfer their consciousness into people destined to die. They follow strict rules known as protocols, a code of conduct designed to protect the timeline and keep missions on track. Marcy, once intellectually disabled, wakes up as a complete genius. Trevor, a teenager, now carries the wisdom of an old strategist. Philip, a junkie, gains perfect memory as the team's historian. Carly, an abused wife, transforms into a skilled fighter. Finally, Grant, an FBI agent, becomes their leader. United, they begin their mission in the 21st century to prevent humanity's collapse. Together, they receive orders from the Director, a powerful AI from the future that controls all missions. Their first task is to intercept an antimatter shipment that previously exploded and killed over 11,000 people. The team succeeds. However, problems arise when the intended traveler host dies, forcing them to return the antimatter to its origin. Despite interference, they restore containment, but as a result, they receive a cryptic warning from the Director about suspected protocol breaches. The team begins to settle into their host lives while awaiting new orders, but soon, cracks appear. Philip decides to save a potential host against orders. He fabricates a mission involving a kidnapped Romanian boy, causing a shootout that leaves him wounded and exposes both his deception and his heroin addiction. The others begin to doubt his reliability, while Marcy quietly struggles as her host body shows signs of severe brain damage. Their unity is tested again when they encounter another traveler squad, led by the hardened operative Hall. When Hall's mission goes wrong, Luca, one of his men, is gravely wounded. Marcy defies protocol to save him. Tension sparks between the two groups, forcing Grant to prove his loyalty to his team. Shortly afterwards, the team meets a family of travelers, but a sudden crash knocks them unconscious. 4 of them wake up trapped in cages, enduring interrogations from a TV that knows both their missions and private lives. Grant manages to track them down, but now he faces the cost of leaving a mission undone. Soon after, the team investigates a strange cult, only to discover its members are travelers waiting for their missions. As the mission unfolds, they realize that the cult's true purpose is to stop Helios 685, an asteroid set to strike Earth. In a desperate move, the Director intervenes, briefly inhabiting a human host to deliver precise orders. The threat is averted, but the Director's actions leave the team with troubling questions. The victory against Helios marks the team's first major success, but balancing their 21st century lives grows increasingly difficult. Grant becomes paranoid, fueling his wife Kat's suspicions that he is cheating. Carly fights a bitter custody battle with her abusive ex, Jeff. Trevor clashes with his reckless girlfriend and his domineering father. Philip struggles with heroin withdrawal, his addiction threatening both his focus and the team's trust. Meanwhile, Marcy continues to suffer from pre-existing brain damage, pushing her to attempt a dangerous self-surgery with the help of David, her devoted social worker. Not long after the Helios mission, Grant, Trevor, and Philip are tasked with investigating a mission involving webcam girls who are potential traveler hosts. But one of their clients, Aaron Donner, is preparing a bomb. When his transfer fails, the explosion kills the girls. Donner is captured, but upon interrogation, he reveals the traveler program to the DA, not knowing she is also a traveler herself. Donner is placed on trial for treason and found guilty, but he claims that accepting prison is a better fate than the future he comes from. Soon, the team is up for their next mission involving Grant. He is handed a mysterious black box and tasked with escorting Congressman Bishop on a flight. Grant boards the plane and discovers that Kat has also joined the flight. When danger erupts, he sacrifices himself so Kat and Bishop can live. The plane crashes, leaving Grant broken in the wreckage, while Bishop awakens as a new traveler operative. Grant miraculously survives the plane crash but is left in critical condition, while his team is also doing their part to cover their tracks, Kat, Forbes, and the authorities. Strangely enough, Grant begins to experience powerful memories of his host's deep love for Kat, and he is starting to have these feelings for her as well. Yet, when he finally tries to make his move, Kat shuts him down. For the following days, Marcy's condition worsens and the team fights for her survival. With this, the Director sends another traveler, Grace Day, a brilliant scientist, to help her with her illness. She transfers her consciousness into her host body a second time, erasing all memories she has built since arriving. This saves her life, but she has forgotten her relationship with David. Amid all this, another figure emerges. Charlotte, a rogue traveler who targets Grace, exposes the existence of the Faction. These are travelers who reject the Director's authority. Unlike the main travelers, the Faction has no regard for protocol, creating chaos in the 21st century. Grace indeed admits to it, causing the team to distrust her. The team continues their mission when another key figure enters the picture. His name is Vincent Ingram, revealed as the first traveler, a sole survivor of the failed 9/11 mission. He is wealthy in secret, but has grown bitter after the director abandons him without any support. He keeps other travelers imprisoned and confides in his therapist. While struggling with his addiction, Philip meets Jenny, another traveler who is pretending to help him, but actually has hidden intentions. Meanwhile, Kat reveals her pregnancy and hands Grant separation papers. Amidst all these, a strange timeshare scam suddenly emerges, erasing people's identities. New concerns arise when they discover that travelers are being tortured and left for dead. After months of investigation, they learn that someone has been hunting travelers worldwide. Their search leads them to Jacob Ward, but before he can reveal the mastermind, he is mysteriously killed. Now all signs point to Vincent. As the team prepares to assassinate him, Vincent proves one step ahead, sending a warning that not only the team but everyone close to them is in grave danger. This time, the team is given two simultaneous missions. The first one is to plant a bomb at Galston Industries to stop the release of dangerous crops, and the second one is to assassinate Bishop so he can become a martyr. Abby, an activist, is meant to carry out the bombing, but after her sudden death, Trevor takes her place, only for Philip to secretly disarm the bomb. Carly succeeds in killing Bishop, while Marcy secretly helps Kat with her pregnancy against protocol, all while Vincent's influence spreads, and Philip falls deeper into Jenny's tricks. Using Jenny's ties to Philip, the faction spreads a virus disguised as an antiviral. The infection quickly spreads, endangering not only the travelers, but also a few of their loved ones. Jenny eventually ends up revealing the truth, explaining that since the director's reset, every mission has been secretly serving the faction. They plan to wipe out 30% of humanity to ensure the future survives. The plague worsens as Jenny is interrogated, but she chooses to remain loyal to the faction, claiming its mission is better than the director's. With this, Grace suggests restarting the director with uranium, but the faction intercepts their plan and steals the supplies. Desperate, they resort to using a nuclear warhead to reactivate the director. They are successful, and the director briefly comes back online to create the cure for the antiviral. While on another mission to recover a meteorite vital for time travel, the team becomes trapped in a deadly time loop, causing them to die before they can even start. This pushes the director to use a skydiver named Carrie to warn them, but she repeatedly fails and dies in every loop. With this, the director decides to host her brother Wayne instead, but he also cannot succeed. Finally, a truck driver is used as a host, helping the team survive the ambush, retrieve the meteorite, and receive new missions. Not long after, Grace is put on trial for conspiring against the grand plan. The team tries to defend her, but the tribunal still declares her guilty due to repeated protocol breaches. During the hearing, Traveler 0029 is exposed as the real traitor when he lures Marcy into a trap. With this, the team dismantles the quantum frame for good and exposes the conspiracy. The director later thanks Grace in private, yet the act already leaves her humiliated. Meanwhile, Vincent's hidden role begins to surface. As Philip attends his first historian update, he starts gaining visions of alternate timelines. Using the new intel, he rebuilds the team's finances with Marcy and Carly's support. Meanwhile, Kat struggles with her pregnancy, so Hall tries to help her with advanced medicine. However, he still fails to save the baby, leaving Grant devastated. Similarly, Philip is also struggling with his newfound role. To recover her lost memories, Marcy undergoes an ice bath. Procedure triggers fragments of her past where she recalls being both a patient and an orderly. She also recounts Vincent's manipulations. Meanwhile, the team is tasked to protect Anna Hamilton, a young girl targeted by the faction as she is destined to become a future U.S. president. With the director's help, they manage to save Anna, who is placed under the care of her new traveler parents. Marcy nearly dies from the procedure she undergoes, but she ends up regaining some of her missing memories. The team soon finds out about Vincent's influence when Simon, one of his former prisoners, reveals through his drawings that Vincent is actually the first traveler. Simon is exploited to build communication systems, then abandoned, leaving him unstable. Using Simon's help, the team tracks down Vincent's therapist, Dr. Perro. However, Vincent retaliates by kidnapping Simon and threatening Perro's family, wanting to see Grant alone as an exchange. To avenge himself, Vincent captures the team's loved ones and tells them the truth about the traveler's identity. He makes Simon build a transfer device while manipulating Dr. Perro. Although Simon leaves Simon there to die, the director has other plans. Meanwhile, the hostages begin to realize they have been deceived by their loved ones. Soon, Vincent completes his plan by transferring his consciousness into Dr. Perro. Through this, he secures a new life under her identity. Even though the captives are eventually freed, the traveler's personal relationships are left damaged. Soon, a new FBI agent, Joanne Yates, is chosen by the director to prevent a global assault on the travelers. The team tries to hide the truth about their loved ones' abductions by using memory inhibitors. After being abandoned by Vincent, Simon is rescued when the director transfers him into a new host. However, his schizophrenia continues to affect him, making it difficult to complete missions. Kat, David, and Jeff are left with fragments of memories, creating distrust among the team. Meanwhile, Grant realizes there are gaps in his memories, so he tries hard to recall a secret mission the director gives him: kill Alexander. The boy Philip saves against orders, because he is destined to commit heinous crimes in the future. Grant spends a day with the boy before nearly pulling the trigger, but the director suddenly aborts the mission. Instead, Alexander is placed with a new foster family. However, the experience already plants deep doubts in Grant about the director's true judgment. At this point, Traveler 001, formerly Vincent, has been hiding inside Dr. Perro's body for quite some time. After staging a car accident, the faction kidnaps her, hoping to make her their new leader against the director. But since she is gravely injured, Perro is forced to summon her paramilitary force, exposing her true identity as 001 and creating conflict. Meanwhile, Jeff's abuse finally ends when the director overwrites him with Traveler 5416. In another mission, a group of travelers fails, pushing the director to use the 12-year-old Naomi to prevent a nuclear meltdown. However, the program doesn't fully leave her mind, causing her to speak in code until Carly steps in to help. Strangely, the AI inside Naomi grows into its own identity and takes over Trevor for a while before the director absorbs him. Vincent is actively destabilizing the timeline by manipulating transfers and sabotaging the director's missions. At the same time, the faction also resurfaces, trying to recruit historians and hijack more transfers. Philip himself is kidnapped during one of his updates. He is pressured to switch sides, but in the end, he does not pick anyone and refuses to take his pills. Paul is killed during their rescue mission, but the historians are set free. Meanwhile, the team faces a devastating series of events when Trevor begins suffering from an illness caused by his long life in multiple hosts. He simply accepts he will die soon, so he makes a pact with the director to reuse his body. Despite this, Grace works on an implant that could save him, with the team secretly helping, though Trevor only feels betrayed because of this. Meanwhile, Jeff, who is now a traveler, goes undercover in the faction, where he discovers that Traveler 001 is still alive. David is also severely injured after trying to protect an archivist in a shootout, and Philip proves his visions true when he witnesses a bomb detonate in London. Philip's historian visions intensify, showing disasters across the world. In Shanghai, a traveler fails to disarm a nuclear bomb, destroying the archive, while in London, a firestorm erupts. As these events unfold, Philip realizes that what he sees is not imagination, but glimpses of alternate timelines coming true. Amid the chaos, Marcy finds David severely injured in the archive, kept alive only by the nanites in his blood. Using a secretly implanted comm, the team guides him as he struggles to disarm a second bomb before it explodes. Meanwhile, Jeff escapes the faction with Carly and Grant. Marcy, however, stays by David's side and is forced to confront the team's secrets. In the end, David succumbs to his injuries, leaving Marcy devastated and heartbroken. In the aftermath, they confront Protocol Omega, where the director abandons a timeline and lets the travelers live as they please. However, upon knowing that Traveler 001 is still out there, planning something catastrophic, the team refuses to back down. With this, the team takes their last mission to the Fillmore lab, where 001 hijacks Jeff's body and uploads himself into the global servers. Once he disperses digitally, he will gain control and become unstoppable. Realizing the danger ahead, Grant makes a bold move. He travels back 17 years ago, where he stops the rise of Traveler 001 and changes the entire course of history. Because of this drastic change, the Traveler program collapses, and on screen, the familiar back channel appears with the writing,